Well, that finished up the left flank, and that went extremely well. This is part 2 of the Battle of Shiloh. Legendary difficulty using the UI mod 1.8. So, there's a little trick here. If you grab a hold of Jackson as soon as you see the flag pop up and you just drag him down the edge of the board, he'll actually travel down the edge of the board but show up when this phase ends. He'll show up on the left side. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can do it. And the first time I played this battle, I did it by accident, and it worked out really well. I used Jackson to melee through the enemy in the woods and on the left flank, and that was really handy. And Jackson ended up going all the way to the victory location and occupying it. So you can do that, and basically the game isn't very good at switching between the maps, like during the phases. It's kind of terrible at it. So you can easily stack people up to show up, like in this battle. And I guess if you were to stack up a whole bunch of units to the far left of the map, they would show up in the next phase in the with your army, and you could really outnumber the enemy. But it's not necessary to do that. So for the method of, if you want to see it, High Bob War Bob does a really good job of taking his detached skirmishers and having them fire, and not having the parent unit fire. And like what you see right here is a perfect reason to do that. My units are, pretty oversized. Well, they're large for my army at this point of the campaign, and they're firing into that detached skirmisher, and they just wasted ammo. They just didn't do very much. So yeah, if you pay attention to how much damage your detached skirmishers are doing and how much your parent units are doing, it's really interesting. And the parent unit is just throwing away ammo, and the detached skirmisher is using almost no ammo. So he has a very good point, and it's a very interesting technique and mechanic. So the only reason I'm not doing it is because it's not immersive. So, but in your campaign, it's your campaign. So what I'm saying is it is a good mechanic, and it works, and it saves ammo, and your troops do not have enough ammo on this side of the map. But I wanted to see if I could get my ammo wagon here fast enough. And I think it is possible. I'm a little bit not quite as early as I should, and I also think I should have just turned off my artillery from the beginning. Just turned my ammo wagon, just turned the artillery off, and turned my artillery units off until I needed them. So yeah, as you know, artillery hemorrhages ammo, and you just don't have enough on this flank. So yeah, when you really need the artillery to work is when his reinforcements come on, and you just need them to work for some early shots. And then you really need his artillery to work when you kill his ironclad. Also a High Bob War Bob innovation. So yeah, it's you just resupply them enough to kill the ironclad, and then you're golden. So we are going to do that. But I think the single most important thing is just to make sure that your ammo wagon has $35,000 of ammo coming into the battle. So if you do that and you move it around, you move the ammo wagon around throughout your entire army, you'll be good. I have a little bit of a problem because one of his units, well, he does have a cav unit that can scarf up your ammo wagon. but one of his units routes and causes me a little trouble blocking the path of my ammo wagon. So I think next time I'll actually escort my ammo wagon with an infantry unit. And then it'll get to the right flank faster. Okay, I really don't have any super clever plan here. You don't have to push the enemy to any particular place. You don't have to occupy any particular place. The only thing you have to do, and you absolutely must do, is not trip the flag, or you are in trouble. So, yeah, the only thing I'm doing is staying away from the flag, so that causes you to do all kinds of squirrely things like that you would not do, like my units just, you can see them just hugging the edge of the map to stay away from the flag. And instead of charging forward to attack that artillery, I have to stay back so I don't trip the flag. You know, it's kind of giving that victory location a wide berth. It's kind of silly. But yeah, that's what you have to do. Do not trip the flags. Yeah, the other thing you have to do, which you will absolutely give you a bad time and a bad result, is do not push these units so far forward that you that the enemy reinforcements come in on top of you. So this little clump of woods where the artillery is, the point that is the most north, little tree, I guess, you can't go past that. So if you do, when the enemy reinforcements come in, they'll come in right on top of your army. So that's probably happened to many of you. That will screw you completely up because you'll be in melee with fresh units and they might even be behind your line. So yeah, that's a complete nightmare. So we cannot push too far forward, and I would like to be in the woods before his reinforcements show up. That would be nice. But yeah, there's a limit to how far we can go. These guys on this side of the river, I am actually trying to push them across the river, but if you don't, I don't think it'd make the slightest bit of difference. Yeah, where I want the enemy to be at the end of this is basically around his flag. Um, and all you really have to do is just have your army in a position where you have a couple of units stacked up on the far north edge of the map to walk around the enemy and encircle them. And that's what we're going to do on both flanks, right and left. And once they're encircled, they're doomed. So yeah, and as I was playing this, my goal was to try to get a bunch of captures. I didn't think I would capture as many as High Bob War Bob did. I was really surprised when I captured as many as he did, and actually a few more. So I was really surprised by that. And as you're going to see, in the final phase of the battle on the right side with these allied units, I did not get that many captures on the in the swamps because you drive them back into the swamp. I highly recommend watching how High Bob War Bob did the swamp phase of this battle because he does a better job. The right edge of the map in that swamp area is real glitchy, and you don't want the enemy to retreat all the way to the edge of the map. There are a lot of places in this game where there's a river line or there's an edge of a map where it's real glitchy and things don't work well there, and this is one of them. So you do not want the enemy to retreat all the way through the swamp to the edge of the map, and there's a really screwed up area Well, you'll see it, but don't let them get to the right edge of the swamp. If they do, I would recommend don't go after them. So use High Bob's method to capture them before they retreat. But if they do retreat, let them go. Place a couple of units on the wood line and give them plenty of ammo, and then when the enemy recovers and comes back, the enemy will get slaughtered because he'll be in a swamp with zero cover and no ammo, and you'll be on a hill shooting downhill, gives you a bonus. You'll be in 100% cover, and it should take only 2 units to cover that escape, and after some very short period of time, I'm sure the enemy units will be, completely destroyed. So, as usual, one of his units has retreated in a weird direction, and this used to just infuriate me back in the early days of Ultimate General. Now, I see it as an opportunity to isolate and capture an individual unit, and that's what we're going to do. So I immediately detach an infantry unit to go after this guy, and the cav unit, is terrible. I fought this battle once before, and I thought that this cav unit dismounted would be half decent. He's terrible. Probably because the officer is too low a rank for a unit this size. That's my guess. But yeah, absolutely terrible. But still, I think there's enough. One infantry unit, detached skirmisher, and this cav unit should be able to kill this artillery and this infantry. So yeah, I have less infantry on my front line, but anytime you can isolate one of his units, it's a way to get it. Should be a way to get an easy kill. So it's just a matter of time, and yeah, I'm fine with this. It's also very easy. The 2 units that are on this side of the river, on the right, it's pretty easy to get one of those units to retreat south as well. And that's 2 units you can capture right in the beginning of the battle. So if you want to do that, or you can just keep pushing them north. So either way. So yeah, his infantry unit is not going to do well where he is. He's going to get his head kicked in pretty much. I'm moving my artillery to the north to fire canister into the flank of the enemy reinforcements when they come in. I really need the entire, well, not the entire, but the left half of the top of the map open. My units need to be there and rested for the encirclement. The encirclement is the single most important thing on both flanks. I mean, I think you could probably do almost nothing over here and then get the encirclement and still wipe all these guys out. And really, I'm not doing very much on the left flank either. I'm just waiting for the map to open up. Getting easy kills, waiting for the map to open up, and then get an encirclement, and then, as you will see, a whole bunch of captures. So, yeah, it's not important to fight intensely in the early part of the Battle of Shiloh. And it is, I think, even on Legendary, a very easy win. It's a battle of maneuver, and it's not, and remember, my units don't have the stamina perk. They don't have to go anywhere fast. They just have to go. They just have to beeline it where they need to be. And at any point, anybody has to get somewhere fast, they can just run. But these guys have they all have the morale perk for the +5 efficiency. So I thought the efficiency and the extra morale, I don't really care about the extra morale that much, but as you'll see, they do well in melee, and part of it is the extra morale, I think, helps a little bit. But we don't need the extra condition, and we don't need the extra speed. But what we do, the extra efficiency helps all the time. So Yeah, and that's basically what my armies are. They move. Well, if you watch my Union playthrough, my infantry usually doesn't move any faster than the artillery, and the artillery is pretty slow. So my armies don't generally have to get anywhere real fast. They have to bring a lot of firepower to wherever they're going, but and these are battles of maneuver, but it's kind of like a slow chess game. So what's important here is my guys are in 100% cover. His guys are in the open. That's all good. But what's going to destroy them is they're going to get surrounded. Yep, and the artillery did its job, and I can really turn them off now. And I should, oh, I did turn off the supply wagon. So, well, I mean, turn off the supply wagon for the artillery. So, here in the south, the enemy's been pushed across the river. There's one infantry and one artillery to destroy down here. And yeah, keep blasting away at these guys. I really don't want his infantry unit to start retreating north and get behind my infantry. That would not be good. But I think that's what he does. So, and I can't really spare detached skirmishers to get him. Like, if you put detached skirmishers around him, you would push him south. But the other thing is that flag is right there. And if I get too close to the flag, I'll lose an hour and 25 minutes. And I cannot lose an hour and 25 minutes. I need this phase to go the entire time. Yeah, I don't even have my entire army up yet. I need these units to all get up to where I need them before the timer counts down. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, and his infantry is definitely retreating north. Okay, we can start sliding down, shifting to the right to kind of corral these guys. That infantry unit, I was hoping to just have him come up and support my line or get on the far left flank before the map opens in an hour and 23 minutes. But now we have to put him to stop that retreating unit in the south from getting behind my infantry in this battle to the north. We've got to stop him. So that is really irritating. And my infantry, you'll notice my infantry and my detached skirmisher are actually south of him. That's going to do nothing but push him to the north. So I need to get some massive infantry and detached skirmishers to the north to push him back to the south. So yeah, I'd like to push his infantry back. That's around his artillery, because if I can inflict some damage on that artillery, that would be great. Yeah, these guys in the south, we've secured the river, and that's all they need to do. Just wait for the map to open. It's all excellent. So I mounted up my cav. The cav will only mount or dismount It won't do it during the pause phase if you give it orders, or sometimes it doesn't. So I mounted those guys up, and I'm just going to have them charge the artillery, and they're going to perform horribly, but what good enough. So yeah, now I really need to get serious about destroying this guy. And look, he's retreating right back to the victory location, which I don't want to trip, so that's irritating. Trying to get some shots on his artillery. And we should be able to push this whole mess of troops in the open back into the woods. But in the process, we can do some damage to his artillery, which would be very nice. Blocked? How are you blocked? Yeah, making sure everybody's firing. You know, a large part of this game is just making sure everybody fires where you want them to. Because the game is really weird about that. So, yeah, why isn't my detached skirmisher firing? Still blocked. Yeah, you have to check that. You have to check units that are blocked. And then if they are blocked, target another unit. Make sure enemy units that you're trying to hit are in range, and on it goes. So a lot of micromanagement to do the greatest possible damage. On Brigadier General and Major General, well, on Brigadier General it's not necessary to do all this. On Major General, you kind of have to, just not as much. But on Legendary, you have to do everything you can to degrade the enemy. Man, I love this mod. Being able to see that artillery has his artillery within exploding shell range is so useful. That is such a bit of useful information. And being able to see the cones of fire, the limits of your weapons, really helps you place your units to do the greatest possible damage. So I cannot recommend, and it's really difficult to see the firing cones without the mod. I cannot recommend this mod enough. Just if you turn everything to vanilla settings and you just use and you're just using the cones of fire, the mod is going to make your life so much easier. And then you set the options depending on what kind of game you want to play. But just these cones of fire, and for the artillery, seeing the canister range and exploding shell range, like right there, it is so useful during the battle. I can't imagine going back and not using this mod. I can't imagine playing this game without this mod. Yeah, and I set there are two settings I think make perfect sense. One, allied units that survive now give you weapons, which makes sense. That gets rid of the completely unimmersive mechanic of getting your allied troops killed at the end of battles, which is incredibly unimmersive, and yeah, it's just stupid. Nobody would do that. Um, so it gets rid of that. You now have an incentive to keep your allies alive instead of getting them killed. So that's good. And capturing weapons from captured units. Yeah, that's absolutely accurate. It's immersive. It makes perfect sense. And I had this conversation in the discussion. It's the recover rate for captured units is artificially low on legendary for no reason other than game balance. And as you're going to see, the AI has really good weapons on legendary. So you start capturing thousands and thousands of great weapons on legendary, it completely changes the game. And it makes the game a lot easier. You don't have to spend cash. You can spend cash for other things. I mean, it sets the game not to easy mode, but it does really make the game a lot easier. So it's artificial. It doesn't make any sense in any, kind of game terms that seem rational. It's just for game balance. And yeah, it's and I guess when legendary gets too easy, then you go to the overhaul mod and you dial up the difficulty again. The overhaul mod is for people who found legendary too easy. So yeah, but it's a good mechanic, and I like it. I'm so far liking the enemy artillery targeting my artillery and not my infantry. If my infantry is far enough away, that makes sense. I'm not liking the damage he's doing to my artillery, but it's realistic. So yeah, I'm liking everything about this mod. Next campaign, I'm turning everything on. Okay, finally, yeah, for my cav down there, I got out of melee because he just wasn't doing any damage. And had him just shoot. He does a little bit more damage shooting than melee. And we finally killed that artillery. Took forever. Tiny artillery unit. Took forever to kill it. Because these units don't have any killing power. Okay, I was expecting this supply wagon to start walking off to the right. Okay, we did manage to push that infantry unit to the south, which is where I want him. I want him in the south. And now I wanted to kill the artillery unit first, and now we'll concentrate on killing this infantry unit. Yep, and we captured him. That is amazing. Did not plan on that happening. Yeah, he thinks he's going to charge. That's fine. He can do that. I now have 5 artillery up, so that charge is not going to go well. Yeah, the only person I'd need to push any further right now is the infantry unit that's in the south, the enemy infantry in the south. I'd like to push him against the edge of the map, and that'll make it easier to kill him. So, yeah, his infantry that's here in the open, I just assume they stay there, actually, but they won't. They won't be able to stay there. They're going to retreat back into the woods. And we have 50 minutes, so now we're just marking time. And I need to start thinking about the units that are going to start doing the maneuver around the enemy flank and cut them off. Make sure everybody can reach this guy, which they can. Everybody reaches. So, and everybody hits him. Yeah, my cav unit was in melee with an artillery unit and got completely exhausted. What a terrible unit. Get my commander up to buff morale. Yeah, he's hating life right now. That infantry unit is not going to stand there very long. Look at those numbers fall. Okay, he can stand there all he wants. Yeah, my commander's in the right place. That's a good attack. He's going to take canister. He's not going to last very long, which is too bad. I'd just soon he stood there for, say, 10 or 15 minutes. Those volleys. Yeah, but he's only down to 2,400. Yeah, I think all these guys have 42s too. I mean, they're just not very good. Crappy weapons. But they're good enough. Yeah, we're pretty much in hold and wait mode right now. Just kind of making sure everybody has a shot. Yeah, I knew somebody was going to be torn up there, but let it be a detached skirmisher that takes that canister. Yeah, that was some 12H. Oh, those are actually Napoleons. Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised he's letting me get shots on that artillery. We'll take it, yeah. Keep moving these guys back and forth and taking shots on his artillery. That'll be perfect. We found him. Okay. So I'm going to stack up my detached skirmishers on the edge of the map and grind shots against his artillery if he's going to let me do it. My cav only has a tiny amount of condition right now. Pathetic. A terrible unit. Yeah, 21 minutes. I really need to start thinking about the who's going to make the big move around the flank. Normally, you need about 3 units. Yeah, as you can see, we're stacking up some units. I need to put that Cav unit on hold. He's doing amazingly nothing right now. So maybe if we move up real close to him. That's good. The enemy is turning around to face the Cav unit. That's actually good. Then my infantry and detached skirmisher will be on the flank. So that's good. Checking the ammo and the condition of my units. They're all in good shape. I've been mostly letting detached skirmishers chip away at the enemy, which I normally do. That's something I've always done. When you just want to chip away at the enemy, send the detached skirmishers forward. That works. His unit is kind of rotating back and forth. That's terrific. I see 1, 2, 3. There's more infantry back in there, in that wooded area that I can't see. And he has at least 3 artillery. He has that little tiny skirmisher unit that's pretty shot up. I'd like to kill him. Although that unit's ineffective. So we're down to the last 4 minutes. Yeah, and this was a perfect phase. My infantry and artillery sitting on the edge of the map, ready to take off. We inflicted a lot of losses on the enemy. We degraded him. A couple of his units are really shot up and very small right now. And that's the end of the phase. So we're going to go back to the other side of the map and, yeah, milk as much time as we can out of that and inflict more damage on the enemy, and then the map is going to open up for us. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.